primary ignition.
Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Dorian Kinji here. Played Cad Bane on the Book of Boba Fett on Star Wars Disney Plus. You're watching the Virtual Cantina Network. Have fun.
Thank you, Dorian.
There we go.
Hi guys, we did it.
We did it!
I think we have to share this to the Facebook page, which is a thing. So I am going to do that right now. But yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome Rebels. Happy Monday.
It is
Woohoo!
Monday, and we have Ski Pruckle in the house.
It's
Definitely
a
Wolf
it's a
Pack.
wolf kind of Monday. Loaf Wolf Monday.
Yeah. This amazing overlay was done by Dave.
So great.
We love it so much.
Yeah.
It did not fit when we first jumped into the studio, so we had to like rejigger the size ever so slightly, but we have very little wiggle room over here.
Well, my wife was giving me a hard time. She goes, because I was laying down earlier. She goes, you need to do something about your 12-year-old hair. And I was like, no, I don't have to do anything. They won't be able to see my hair.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
All right, it looks like we are live on YouTube. I'm double checking to make sure that we are good on the Facebook page. I see us. There we are live. How exciting! And it's the three of us, which is cool because this is going to be the Clone Wars Go Forward. We're about a month out from Clone Wars Revisited, which is crazy.
Yeah, you guys, which means
Hard to believe.
our 2.5-year run of Star Wars Rebels Revisited is coming to an end.
I know, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I
Look
know
at these wolves.
And it's hard to believe that we've got California in our rear view mirror. Because I was like, just a couple months ago, we're going, yeah, California's coming up. Let's talk about who's going to be in California. And now it's in our rear view mirror. And Chicago is now also in my rear view mirror, along with my new close personal friend, Mr. Hamill.
That was amazing.
You have to tell us all about this.
Yeah.
It was,
a rundown of the convention.
It was exactly what you would expect to be. A lot of people, but very well organized. I will give Jackie and her crew kudos because they got you through. They had Hayden and Hamill on a second floor, and all the photo ops and autographs for them were all in a certain place. You went in where everybody else was, and you turned in your QR code so you could get a paper ticket for your autographs. You still use your QR code for your photos, but got up there, and I'm kind of watching everybody go in, and I walk in, and he's looking at my shirt. I've got the right beneath my face. You can see my shirt, and I was like, okay, I'm going to wear the Skip Ruckle shirt for photograph and the Ski Pruckle shirt for the autograph. And I went in there, and he started looking at my shirt, so I kind of held it out, so he could see the whole thing. And you could see him, lip reading it. He was like, Skip Ruckle. Of course I know him. It's me. And so as he's reading it, then he looks up at me and goes, "Oh, that's your name." And I said, "Yes." And he laughed and pointed at my shirt. He was pointing at everybody as they kind of came in, and he was pointing at my shirt, going, "Look at this shirt." And so that was really cool.
Oh, yay.
It was enjoyable to meet him. His, then I rolled right into the autograph line and met some new members of our Facebook group.
I saw you recruited so many. That's
people were like, hey, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm a member of the Facebook group, and I would pull it up on my phone, and the QR code's right on the front page, so it'd be like,
we love a QR code.
We do.
And boom, and they're there, and they're joined up. And so yeah, there were some people. One gentleman who was like, "Hey, Skip, thank you, Skip, for introducing me." And he was like, he was in, as I was talking to him, it was clear he was in desperate need of finding his tribe. And I said, "Oh, I know where they are. Just come on over to our Facebook page."
Yeah.
And so he jumped in, and it was funny because he was with another lady who had a service dog, and so she was carrying her dog. And as we went in for the autograph, Mark's just signing away. He's signing away. You're just like being in front of him as he signs your item, whatever it is. And he didn't even look up at my shirt. I had switched over shirts, and he just,
Yeah.
But this lady had her dog in, and it immediately brought his head up because he had his dogs with him. And he starts telling us how his dogs have passports, that he took them to Serbia, and they've got passports for his dogs. So that
That's wild. There are people in America who don't have passports.
I know.
Yeah, and so but Mark Hamill's dogs have passports.
That's
And so got the autograph. That was cool. He signed the photo that we had just taken, an hour before that. And then and then I left that area and had to go right into another line for his panel. And he got to his panel a little bit late, and so they had Giancarlo come in and warm up the crowd, and then introduce him. Came in, and I think it was Jackie that was saying she was backstage, and that Hamill comes up and goes, "Is that Giancarlo? Introducing me?" And she's there. He's like, "Wow, cool."
That's awesome.
Officially met, before that, so they got to, or maybe they had. I guess they had on obviously they had on Mandalorian season 2, but I guess didn't realize that he was there and doing that. So he's like, "Oh, that's so cool." So and then he's he kept on talking about his dogs there, and because I'm about to get upstaged by my dogs again. But it was a really enjoyable time. He started talking about some of the projects that he's working on, and
he's so good with the storytelling.
Yeah, and he did not talk about Star Wars that much. Some people were happy about that. Some people were a little bummed out about it, that they didn't get a little bit more Star Wars experience with him. I got a little bit of talking about Carrie, which was cool. But it was, Friday was what I referred to as my Mark Hamill day, as you can't see when I got to do my finger quotes a little bit closer to my face so you can see them. But it was my Mark Hamill day because basically from the minute I got there to the minute I left was all Mark Hamill. But then
so worth it.
Oh, and there was such a huge lineup of Star Wars guests there. There was Hayden, Rosario, Amon, Diana, Giancarlo, Tamara Morrison.
Wow.
Who else am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing somebody. But I have met Giancarlo several times, so I took a break on seeing him on this one.
I'd love
But
to meet him.
got to talk to Diana. I had a photo op with her and Amon, which was a little bit later in the afternoon, and I walked by her booth and just happened to catch her with nobody there, and I didn't want to just walk up and grab one of the glossies and get her to autograph that, because I tend to take our photo ops and get them autographed, and that's my shtick.
I like that.
So I walk up and I'm like, what do I do? I mean, how do I blow this opportunity that nobody is in line with her? And so they were doing selfies, and I was like, hey, can I get a selfie? And so we talked a little bit. There was one person in front of me. He was talking about karate and kung fu, and so I was talking to her husband for a little bit.
Love Ron. He's so nice.
He was the handler, and we talked a little bit, and I said, how are you doing? I said, we got to check in with the handlers too. They need a little love, and he thought that was funny. And then somehow, I don't know how it organically happens, but we always get into the conversation. Well, what do you do for a living? Well, I build houses for a living. Do you really? Yes. And so I opened up my Facebook page and showed her my houses, the 3 houses that are in the front of that. She's like, oh, I said, this is how I do my creativity. This is where I do my art. I said, you do your art on film or on camera, and I said, I do mine in 3D. And so it was very cool. I did get a little chance to talk to her husband later, and he is open to doing a watch along on the network. I've got his Spencer has told me he's already reached out to him on his email, but I've also got his telephone number. They're in Italy right now. I know this because I follow them on Instagram, and Diana was showing pictures.
And via Apple AirTag.
Yeah.
I have to
Don't
show
do that
this
to celebrities. Yeah.
once because it's amazing. See if we can get it. Oh,
nice.
So that is the selfie.
Yep.
I
was going to
it.
say,
It's
there's
so
a
good.
bunch of great pictures in that Dave loaded into tonight's show,
thanks,
into
Dave.
the studio. Skip, you can see them. Oh, wait, do you have producer credit?
He
I don't know
does
if you do.
I do not. I'm still
up.
peon status, Mark.
We will get that sorted. Let's see what else we got over here. Okay, so there's Jonas.
Yes. and
Love
one of
that.
the few people in the world that is taller than me and significantly taller.
And by like a foot, he makes you look like you're 5'8" or something.
Yeah, I'm
Seriously.
6'3"
my
and
height.
he's 6'11". He's got 8 inches on me.
Wild. All right, so then there's
Oh,
Amon
that's so
and
great.
Diana.
There's the photo up.
Dragon
And
Wolf. Whoop, whoop.
it was funny because I walked up and I said, I'm here with all the pretty people, and Amon looked at me and goes, "You're here, so now we all are here." You know, like okay, you're the pretty people too. And so they were very
He's
nice.
a lot of fun. I didn't realize Mark was seated, but there he is pointing to the shirt.
Oh God, you know, he had an enormous amount of photo ops, and I figured at 72 they just decided maybe it would be better if he was sitting down and does the
trying to think.
pictures from that.
He was sitting
Makes
down
sense.
in my photo too in 2017, so it's just easier.
It's exhausting. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen it. Like,
Oh yeah, standing on. Well, you know, you go to a con and you're standing on concrete floors all day.
yeah.
And
We've
then if
all
you're
worked our share of conventions. It is.
Yeah.
if you're standing there instead of moving around like you do throughout the con, you know, man, the knees get a little achy.
Yep.
You start barking.
Ashlee, there are 2 pictures in here that have your name on them.
Oh, it's probably from Terrificon last weekend. Yeah,
So
that's
those
my
were
booth setup.
Terrificon. Okay. We forgot to show these last weekend, but very cool.
Thank you.
I love that sketch cover.
Oh, thanks. It was so fun.
See, this is what happens.
This is
so
what happens.
Now we're naked. Hold on. Let me put the
There we
overlay
go.
back.
We
Wait,
got
no,
it.
that's the wrong one. That's a prior. Oh, wait. Is that the right one? No, that's the small one.
Oh, my goodness.
This is...
You got it. Oh,
That's
There
the
we
big
go.
one. See the difference? There we go.
So, this is
Producing
what
on
happens
the
when you're
fly.
live.
We made, so for everyone in the chat, we made Dave jump on like at 8:57 being like, this overlay doesn't work. Fix it. And by we, I mean Skip. So, and then he changed that overlay from what you just saw here.
Sorry, Dave.
Okay, so let's see. Sherry is saying in the chat that there are well, Dave is asking about the Rebel shorts. And Sherry is telling everyone where to find them, which the shorts are really fun. We haven't watched those as a group.
Haven't.
Do I need to add that? Oh shit, we need to add that to Rebels Revisited.
Yes, you do.
All right, one more week. One more week.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're stuck with us for another week. But these shorts are phenomenal. They kind of get to I think they perfectly highlight each character's personality. They're 4 really, really short, like 3-minute shorts. And they just, like I said, they encompass the characters and the personalities of each of the Ghost crew.
Yeah.
And they're fun. So something for us to watch with you guys in the future.
That actually works out great because that means, all right, so I'm going to give the official announcement here. So hopefully everyone is paying attention. We will add the shorts. Sherry, thank you so much for bringing that up because I know we've talked about the shorts before and we haven't watched them together as a group. This actually works out really neatly because we are in the end game of Rebels Revisited, as you guys know. It's actually one of the reasons that Skip is here. We are 3 episodes away from the finale of the show in our rewatch, but we have about 5 episodes left of Rebels Revisited itself. So tonight is A Fool's Hope. Next week, we're going to do the best of Maul because we love us some Maul. And even though he's not in that many episodes, we are going to Maul it up. That'll be on Labor Day. And then Monday the 9th, we're going to do the Rebel shorts. Monday the 16th, we're going to do a best of season 4, which is going to be weird because like all of season 4 is great. And, you know, the finale is kind of in a space all its own. But we've done best ofs for season 1, season 2, and season 3. I have to move my fingers. We should also do a season 4. And then then the last 2 episodes of the show will be Family Union and Farewell broken into 2 different episodes. So the 23rd and the 30th. So the final episode of Rebels Revisited will be Monday, September 30th. And then we will start up in October, spooky season, with Clone Wars Revisited. And we'll be on the air forever until we die, until we're 90.
Until we're 90.
So, with help from Skip. So
yes.
Yeah. So that is that's our big announcement. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, looks like you had a phenomenal time last weekend, Skip. I'm so glad you got to meet Mark and see Amon and Diana and Giancarlo and everybody involved in Star Wars. Like, it's so huge. It's like a little mini celebration in Chicago. So it's awesome.
It was a blast, and you know, it was funny because I knew that that, like meeting Diana, I got a really good dose of talking to her because she was by herself there.
So
And in fact,
loved her.
when we took the pictures, as I was walking, you do the photo up and you're like, boom, you're gone. As I'm walking away, I turned around and I said, well, I'm going to bring this by to get an autograph. And she goes, do it. So when I brought it by, she's like, oh, yeah, let's see it. So it was a very interactive time with her and her husband over the weekend. You know that you're not going to get that with Mark Hamill. You're getting 2 seconds of the fact that he looked at my shirt and kind of smiled and thought that was cute was me working my best to try and get some attention, like a little attention hound, but so it was like I knew I was going to enjoy everybody else a little bit more than Mark Hamill. But look, how many opportunities am I going to get to meet him?
Absolutely.
So you had to do it, but it was kind of more fun visiting with everybody else than it was from him, except that I did at least get a panel with him.
Yeah.
So.
Did you get to ask any questions?
I did not. There were a few people asking questions, and interestingly enough, it was not the. I make this very off-color comment. It's like when you get to the cons and they get to the question section, it's like they back the short bus up, and the nerdiest of our nerdum come out to ask the questions.
But they don't even ask questions; they just ramble.
Yeah,
like, this is more of a comment than a question. It's like, no, this is more of your mental illness joining the front row. Well,
I'll put it this way: the neurodivergent tend to show up for that, and so you're like, some of it gets a little cringy, but it was actually really good questions for the question section. I was impressed with how we showed for Mark Hamill.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Sherry, I hate Q&As at panels also, and I honestly think the only question should be vetted by the moderator. You should submit them ahead of time, and they should read your Instagram handle, and that's it. And if you're there, you're there, and if you're not, you're not. Stop asking for a hug. Don't tell me about your relative who is terminal. Like, this is not the time and the place. And don't ask a stupid question about a piece of lore that no one cares about. I realize that panels are meant to be interactive, but they're also really meant to be press. Like, this is a PR push, whether you're promoting the actor or the project or something.
Mark,
but like,
you should have run this panel.
I've done this kind of stuff in the past, and we have, because here's the thing, I also booked some panels as part of Celebration, and you can't control the actual flow of it, but like, there are very basic things you can do to make sure they don't flop or feel weird or get into that kind of space. And I've been to enough of them to know how uncomfortable it gets, especially for like female guests getting asked weird shit by creepy men. Like, that is a constant issue.
That happened. The only time I've been to a panel where like a female guest has been like asked like overtly questionable questions was actually what's her name? She played Gemma Simmons in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Elizabeth Henstridge. She was asked something really creepy by a guy, and she was just kind of like, I'm not going to answer that. And it was just really sketchy. And then I went after the guy, and she was like, oh, thank God.
Exactly.
But you feel bad, and it brings the mood down in the place, and it's like, you want to ask someone about the body of the work, and obviously some people want to let them know how much things mean to them, like I did with the whole like Spies Goodbye episode. And anyway.
It's tough because everyone's like, oh, I love this, I love that, I'm such a huge fan. I was like, well, obviously, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. You didn't accidentally turn up to the panel.
Let's get to the
girl that plays Deadpool's love interest.
Marina Baccarin.
I love her. I wanted to ask her some creepy questions, but she was there at Celebration. But
well, I'm glad you mentioned Maria Baccarin. So hold that thought as I scroll to where the hell is it? I can't scroll fast enough on here. There's always like some. I need to set up a separate.
I did have
Katie Sackhoff gets creepy.
Yeah.
She does.
So. I mean, are we doing it?
I want to do it.
Revisit it would be so much fun. One, I don't have the time or the bandwidth, and I'm barely making my way through the rewatch at the moment. But Maria Baccarin, who, for everyone who is watching, is actually second from the right. So it's Mark, and then Alan Tudyk, and then Maria Baccarin. If we're going right to left on this picture, she plays a companion in Firefly, and that is a tricky thing to ask, right? Because intimacy coordinator required, as well as dealing with a lot of jokes about the profession. And obviously, look, this is the year 2024. We all know that sex work is work. We no longer use the term prostitute or hooker. A hooker is actually like quite derogatory. We say sex worker. She is a sex worker in space, and her title is companion on the show Firefly. And she's actually the one with the highest rank. So that show is ahead of its time in lots of ways. Too bad, it's the Whedon of it all that fucked it up.
Mhm.
But that being said, I still want to do a Star Wars, like a
I
Rebels Revisited
know.
kind of thing, like
We could do a
Firefly.
Serenity watch along.
I think that would be a lot of fun,
Yeah.
But that would
especially
be
in the.
So if
condensed.
we do like maybe like a Firefly recap where we just kind of talk about the episodes
Hmm.
and then do a Serenity watch along. So that
I
way
would
we
love to
cover
do a
them
Serenity
both
watch along.
and just
Um,
kind of talk about what we love in the show and then
Yeah.
watch along with the movie. And then we can start Clone Wars Revisited.
yeah,
I
I
did
think
have
Like a little palate cleanser
yeah,
before we jump right
that could
into
be really
Clone Wars.
fun. Would
Yeah.
anyone be up for a Firefly or a Serenity watch along in October or something? That could be really
And
cute.
a Firefly recap.
Yeah.
Because it's
Um,
brown coat season. Like
brown coat season.
October is brown coat season. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
I
I
did
I
have
have
a go ahead.
No, I have to find my Captain Hammer T-shirt to wear for that because I used to have a shirt that said "I'm a leaf on the wind, watch how I
Oh,
soar," which is a little bit of like
Nar.
a cry for help.
Oh,
But
why?
I
My
it's so
soul, I'm
old.
dead.
Yeah. Um, Dave, you're right. Serenity is Star Wars adjacent, and movies we were thankful for that would actually make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we could totally do
Let's
that.
do that. Let's hold on Serenity until we get to November because I do think separately, Ashley and I are plotting not a coup, but a side project of sorts. Skip, you can be invited to, and Dave and
Yeah.
anyone else, and Matt, if you're a fan as well. Sherry, you're all invited. Everyone's
Yeah.
invited to the
Hell
party.
yeah.
The coup is less of an overthrow and more of just a hangout.
That's what we do.
So I did have two small other stories.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, I had gotten
Yeah.
his autograph in Dallas, and I had put it in one of the more hard plastic covers, and apparently it was more Sharpie than oil paint, and so that half the signature had disappeared, and some of the writing on it. So I went ahead and paid for an autograph for Chicago, and when I got there, the lady went, "Oh." And she goes, "Here, we'll fix this." And she had a little thing of hand sanitizer, and she put
Yes.
it on a piece of tissue, and then she took it across my picture, and all of it was gone. And she had written down what it said. She goes, Skip, looking good, and then Alan Tudyk. And so by the time he got it, it was all gone, clean, and he completely redid. He had the sticky note, so he was reading it. And he goes, "And still looking good," as he says it. And then she said, "Now look, pick something else out because you paid for an autograph." We were just fixing that, and so I got one with Alan next to K2SO, and he wrote on there and Cassian told me I had to line, which I thought was just great.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then I did have a little touching moment with outside of the Star Wars universe, Holly Marie Combs.
Love her.
My wife and I had both watched, kind of at different times, both watched Charmed, and we had seen her and Shannon at Rhode Island last year. And in fact, my wife was going up and had picked out a picture, and they started walking away, and we were like, "Oh, could you please, before you go, could you?" And so Holly felt bad so turned around and autographed the photo with for Bridget, and it was the last thing she signed because it was Sunday. Last thing she signed before she left, and Shannon and her left, and so same thing. She didn't have anybody in her line. I walked up and did a selfie with her, and she had. I said to her, I said, "I don't know if you remember this." I said, "I just wanted to come over and let you know that my wife and I were in Rhode Island, and you were getting ready to leave, and you turned around to autograph my wife's picture." And I said that meant a lot to her she was, she loved that show. She was really interested in seeing the two of you. We'd gone to your panel and so forth, and and she goes, something? She goes, I do remember that, because of course it was the last thing that she signed before she left. And I said, and Shannon was there. It was the last time we got to see her, and so we did the selfie, and I looked at her and I said, how you doing? And she's like, not so good.
Yeah.
And I said,
there's a tribute happening on their channel like this week or something.
Yeah. I told her, I said, hey, just lost mom. I said, time will take care of it. I said, in time you will feel better, and and good luck with that. And she said, thank you. And I walked off. So it was kind of a nice moment too.
That's nice. I'm pulling up her Instagram right now. That's why I'm looking down on my phone, because she's obviously put out numerous statements about Shannon's passing, which really, I thought she was gonna make it, man. Like I was really, like I knew how bad it was, but I also thought that she was doing okay. And Holly Marie
She was
Combs
coming at
has
times, she's got to be a certain amount of feeling good if you're going to come into a enclosed space with a bunch of people that you don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Here we go. House of Hollywood Live, a tribute to Shannon Doherty, Saturday, September 14th at 6:30 Eastern at the Ocean Center Daytona main stage. So Holly Marie Combs says this is on her Instagram. You can follow her at the HMC, the Holly Marie Combs, the HMC, and her podcast is House of Hollywell. This is a live thing. We're happy to share that the news with our HOH family, thanks to our friends at 90s Con, the HMC, Drew Fuller, and Brian Krause. Oh wow. We'll all be hosting a special House of Hollywood tribute for Shannon. The cast will be on stage September 14th with a podcast airing shortly after. You can get tickets and go to that'sentertainment.com, which is 90s.com, for more information and get tickets. So that's great. I'm glad you got to talk to her and got to meet her, because I loved Charmed as a high schooler and into college, and I kept up with it. Yeah. Buffy, Charmed, Dawson's Creek, less so Angel, but those are my jam. And of course Firefly, my one season. But yeah, it was definitely a cultural touchstone, that show for me. I'm sad I should have met them at Rhode Island and I didn't. And I remember thinking like other people had met them, and then the line was really long, and I was like, oh, I should have what we should have done, and this is the plan for Rhode Island this year. We need to start a Google Doc as to who wants to meet everyone and when they're going to be there, because then we can get in big group pictures together. Because I did that with my little crew: Jen, Liberty, Ashley.
It was so
to
fun.
a lesser extent, Kathy. Sometimes Spencer. Spencer pulled me into stuff. Like I was able to just get in a photo with Brandon Routh because Spencer was getting a photo of Brandon Routh. So I just did that. And whenever I had a photo op, I grabbed Ashley, who was ever standing near me, because they don't give a shit, right? Like those selfies at the table, you can pull in your entire family if they have a ticket to the show. Like
Brent Spiner.
20 people deep. Yeah, Brent Spiner. I think there were 5 of us, and then Spencer in the background like this. Like it was very that. So we need to get a Google Doc rolling of who we're going to meet at Rhode Island Comic Con, who we're going to do professional photo ops with, who we're going to get selfies with, who we want to be in the photo with. Because my Seth Green photo is probably the best picture. He's barely in it. He's holding the selfie like this, and it's just his face. And then there's like the 5 of us doing like this shit. Like it's so funny. So it's good times.
It's funny when you do that in the law.
Yeah, exactly.
Overlay.
Yeah.
You're barely there.
Yeah. I'm looking at my autographs and I'm like, why do I still keep them in plastic sleeves? And then like, if you can see like the little spots, that's all Carrie Fisher's glitter in the sleeve. So I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Gotta save that.
I know.
They're gonna bury me with that. If I could be buried with Carrie's glitter.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I don't want to take it out of here, but I have to take it out of here because it's Sharpie.
This is the Seth Green in the photo, and then the rest of us all have like the middle like this, like the 5 of us. I'll have to find the picture.
So fun.
It's so dumb. Meanwhile, we are at the halfway point already. It's 9:30. We should start watching the episode. For everyone, brace yourself. This is the start of what is essentially the 3-part finale. This is episode 14. There are 15 episodes in Star Wars Rebels Season 4, but the 15th episode is a double. They basically gave us 16 episodes in disguise. So Family Reunion and Farewell are really 2 episodes. This is leading up to that, and it's called A Fool's Hope. The Fool is Ezra, but he has hope, which is like the sort of theme of the whole franchise. So we trust Ezra. So All right, everyone, cue up your Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Season 4, episode 14, A Fool's Hope. I'm gonna set the countdown in a second. If I can get to the damn countdown. Everything's a mess in here.
Hold on, I gotta get the time clock open.
Oh yeah, and you'll do the time clock. I don't want to say the B team is running the show, but like I joke all the time that like Jeff has the easiest job in the world because he just has to remember to hit the thing. Because Ashlee and I are in the comments and like interacting with people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to this stuff, I'm like, wait, where's this thing hiding? Why don't I have it lined up? It's very silly. All right, I'm hitting the 10-second countdown. Everyone get ready to hit your Disney Plus.
Me, I just can't.
I got to remember to turn my volume down.
And put your subtitles on. I find that's the best way to watch like this. I just put it on mute. So I lose the voice acting in the rewatch, but it's not like this is new to me. Like I've seen this show so many times.
You can practically hear it in your head anyways.
Yeah. Even when I see people on screen, like
it was funny. I was watching Rebels earlier today. I was in season 2. And God knows how many times I've watched these episodes. I go to my favorite little diner and I'll have lunch and I'll have my TV or my phone like leaned up and it's got Rebels on and I got my earbud and I'm listening to this as I'm having lunch.
Why is the timestamp not showing?
I don't know.
Wait, hold on. I think I have to add it to stage. Hold on.
Yeah, should be there.
Look at that.
It's teeny. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get it bigger.
That's okay. Look, if anyone is asking, we're at the 104 mark. We're okay. By the way, thank you for everyone in the chat for hanging out with us. We got a fun group tonight.
By the way, we have Rex wearing his Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi outfit here.
I love that.
It's great.
Look, the retconning is strong with this show, with this franchise. Who are we kidding? Here's the thing. I don't even want to talk about the Acolyte because I'm kind of upset about everything and the way it shook out. And I know we talked about it last week, but it picked up a lot of steam this week that like one of the air quotes complaints about Acolyte was like retconning canon, and everyone was like, no, it's people who don't know canon that think they are retconning canon, or people who don't know the entirety of canon because they don't pay attention to what's going on in the last 10 years since Disney took over. So there's like old angry white men, to be more specific, are just screaming their heads off about this kind of stuff, but they're actually like ill-informed, which is super frustrating. But I still hate the fact that like the bad guys seem to have won in this. Whether you like the Acolyte or not, like the worst offenders in the fandom are celebrating a win, and that's what's so frustrating about it all.
The snide and snarkiness is just it's terrible.
I hate it so much. We need some good Star Wars news because we were on a roll there for a while.
Well, here's some good Star Wars news. They're collecting signatures to try and keep it going. They're up around 50,000. There was one saying don't keep it going, and it never caught steam.
What's this?
There was the petitions. There was a petition to keep Acolyte going. They've got somewhere close to 50,000 signatures on that right now.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So they also had a petition not to keep it going, and it never got steam.
Well, I mean, do you need to sign something that's already happened? Like, I hate to be that guy, but it's like, I don't need to sign that. But I'm glad it didn't gain any traction. However, like, they also still already won. Like, and by the way,
I'm still hoping that Disney has been manipulating this all in the background to see whether people really like the show or not.
Here's the thing. I think you can continue the stories and the characters in this general time frame under a different name. Like, remember when Book of Boba Fett happened, and then season 3 of Mando was season 3 of Mando, and we were like, oh, this sounds like it would have been the Book of Bo-Katan. And you have to wonder if they were just trying to bucket it under Mando. I wonder if they're thinking with Acolyte, like there's more stories to be told there, and maybe there's like Tales of the Stranger, maybe there's a comic book, maybe there's a cartoon, like there's any number of things. But I still think they need to go back to the High Republic and give us the show we originally wanted, not the one we got. Like, I want a lot of dark side users fighting a lot of Jedi, and that's not what we were given.
Yeah, there's more than this. Way more than this.
Where are we?
Yeah, Venestra does not. I'm reading some of those books right now, and Venestra doesn't reflect Venestra in the High Republic.
So I have heard. Jamie, here's the thing, Jamie would maybe comment on that, but I also know she loves The Acolyte, and I think she sees the difference in the characters because of the time.
Yeah.
But she'd be someone to really speak on that, which would be good. Dave, I do want to highlight your comment on the screen real quick because holy hell, am I ready for Darth Jar Jar and for Darth Rose
Yeah.
and for the one from Jedi Adventures. What's the little Jedi adventure? Nubs, Darth Nubs. All of the put upon characters who are ready to rebuild the galaxy into evil. I'm so ready for Rebuild the Galaxy and whatever we end up doing in September to celebrate all of Lego Star Wars, which, by the way, Dave, reminder that I've got to get you and Spencer and the rest of the crew on the horn so we can all talk about like countdown to Rebuild the Galaxy because that's coming very soon. We are going to be celebrating all things Lego here on the channel.
Yes, I'm so excited for this. I am a Lego junkie.
This is a weak point in my Star Wars.
There's not a lot. Here's the good news: you could be caught up in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, like, it's really that fast.
It's so basic.
Yeah. There's a couple of different programs, like specials that they've done. There's the holiday special. There's the Tale from Vader's Castle. The Freemaker Adventures, which is fun, but you can watch a wraparound video for that if you wanted to.
It's so cute, though. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else they've even done. Like the Lego stuff is not. Oh, Summer Vacation. Summer Vacation actually might be my favorite. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Tales from Vader's Castle is my favorite because we've got.
Yeah, it's like
the
Central.
Hut. Yeah.
Also,
Graballa the Hut is like unmatched.
Governor Price, I have Mary's autograph right here.
Ooh, there she is. We love Mary Elizabeth McGlynn on this channel. We are Mary Elizabeth McGlynn stans over here. I was so thrilled to be able to bring her to Celebration 2017.
She's so gorgeous.
It's when we first started getting her to sign autographs too. Back when when she first debuted in the show, we had her signing like pretty fast. I think her first signing was at like Celebration 17, and then she was in products on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
It's the only character she's voiced, but she's also done voice directing, and she did a lot of that for Resistance.
She did a voice in Resistance too. She was
right,
one of the pilots. I cannot think of her name, but yeah.
I was thinking in Rebels, yes, but you're right.
Oh,
she has one other voice in Resistance, and she directed a bunch in there. Yeah, I can't remember because Stephen Stanton's in Resistance also, and I always forget about his character, even though they sort of drew him to look like his character a little bit.
Oh, they did.
Or drew the character to look like Steve.
And also,
what's going on in the episode? As you notice, we like everyone's seen the episode. There's Steve.
They fly.
Oh boy, they fly now.
Oh no!
I love this ragtag crew. I talk about it all the time. This is the Island of Misfit Toys, right? We've got Ezra leading the charge. We've got Ryder Azadi. We've got Lando. We've got Hondo. We've got Sabine. Mart Matten is there. Not to be confused with Matt Martin. Zeb is there. Like it is really like the collective extras. Yeah, it's the who's that of Star Wars, but the who's who of Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, if you know who all these characters are, you are definitely a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. There are times when I forget like just how deep in it I am. I said something at work and someone said who, and then I explained who it was and they didn't know the reference to the reference. So I had to keep peeling it back to like get to Luke as a starting point to be like, have you seen the original Star Wars?
I do that every day. It's so bad. And
it's that kind of
I'm like the oldest person in my job, like at the front end.
Well, they didn't know Star Wars Rebels, like full stop.
Okay, so did you just put your hand in their face and go, no?
I was like, I'm on YouTube every Monday talking about this.
Why aren't you watching with me? What the heck? Yeah. Educate yourself.
Yeah, Dave and I last year were at ICCC, and Freddie was supposed to be there, but
I'm gonna make my face that I always make.
But we had everybody else, Governor Pryor, Zeb, I'm using everybody's on camera name, Ezra, Hera.
Yeah, Vanessa was there. It was Taylor Gray, Vanessa Marshall, Tia Sircar, Steve Bloom, and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, right?
Yeah, and Tia's just a very ugly woman.
She's gorgeous, and you know it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's strikingly beautiful. And what's funny is she has a little bit of a career in like she's obviously an on-screen actress. She has a few like Hallmarky movies, and one of them
Yeah.
is a Christmas movie called Christmas 9 to 5, I think,
Hmm.
where she like is a news reporter and works at the equivalent of like a Macy's. And during the holiday season, and it's sort of running an expose, but it becomes this like very cute Christmas movie. It's adorable. I highly recommend.
Yeah, my mom was watching that the other day, and I was like, "Wait, I
Mhm.
know her! I know her!" And my
Yep.
mom's like,
Is it actually on Hallmark, or is it one of the Hallmark clones?
I think it's a Hallmark, but
adjacent.
if you could tell me Hallmark versus Lifetime, I don't know anymore.
I
Um,
honestly, yeah, my mom watches them all, so like, but
yeah,
I did see it. It was so cool.
it's really fun. It's actually here's the thing: all those movies are like relatively, actually, they're very predictable and like relatively like mediocre. But I think hers is actually one of the better ones. And
Yeah,
there are some really bad ones, and then there are some that are actually like quite good. Hers is good. Like her
yeah.
movie is like actually good. It's not just
Even
like cute to see Tia Sircar on screen. Like
yeah,
she's good in it, and the movie's fun.
even
I
Paul
saw
Sun-Hyun Lee played a father in a Christmas movie in
I,
Hallmark.
Yep.
s-
It was just like,
I saw Danica in where
oh,
was
she's
it?
like the
In
queen of.
Knoxville, Fanboy Knoxville. Dave and I saw her. Well, I saw her, but Dave and I were at that con
So
together.
I have to put this comment on screen from Sherry. Hallmark is more fun rom com, and Lifetime is more women in peril. I will
Yeah.
say
Oh my
we were
God. Yeah.
watching a YouTube explainer video on like this series of movies
Oh
of
no.
just I don't even know how to describe it, but it's the same type of thing where like there's a woman in peril every week and it's just a different disaster of sorts, but it's part of like an ongoing series and there's like 30 of them or something. And I was like,
God.
I don't understand, but yeah, it's it's after school specials just made into like
And my mom
movies.
recently got into watching Great American Family, which are the absolute worst. You think the acting is bad in Hallmark movies or Lifetime movies? No, no, no. These are way worse.
Oh, well,
Like
those have
Hallmark.
that like weird
Don't be don't
conservative
completely
be
like
like
slant to
don't
it,
be
right?
talking bad about my
religious
Hallmark stuff.
slants.
My wife will come in and go, "Are we
No,
watching
no, no.
Hallmark again?"
Honestly, I didn't ever think like the actors and actresses that they have in Hallmark movies, and this is saying a lot because I'll fall asleep in one movie and I'll wake up in another, and it'll be the same movie with Hallmark movies. With Great American Family, it is a next step of complete wooden, boring acting. Like, who wrote this drivel kind of thing? And I'm like, okay, I'm going upstairs now. Like, this is
Hmm.
terrible.
Bridget come in and she goes, "Oh my God, you're watching Hallmark again." I'm like, "Yeah." It took her a while to figure out that I'm making decisions all day. I've got stress all day. When I come home, I want something that does not stress me out. That is just simple, nice, and easy. And that's where my Hallmark thing came from.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, Jonathan Bennett has a huge deal with Hallmark Channel. You know, the guy from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Um, he he's now and what's the it is he's going to be in a rom com trilogy called The Groomsmen. Groomsmen. There's three of them, and it's he and his two best friends. And they each get to star in their own movie, and they're each getting married because he's done a few of the Hallmark movies, including Christmas on Cherry Lane, and he's a producer on this, and he's going to be hosting some reality show where they're literally searching for the next Mr. Christmas. So who's going to be the lead in their Hallmark movies to be like the hot male lead to lure all these women out of their high-paying jobs in the city. So um, I
Sorry.
love it though. I can't. Every time I watch one, I'm like,
My
this is the
uncle does.
cheesiest, stupidest
Yeah.
shit. And then I watch it, and my heart grows like the Grinch. I'm actually the Grinch. I actually like kind of hate Christmas, and my husband loves Christmas, and so every
Yeah.
year
I love
it's
Christmas.
basically the Grinch where I have to like learn to love Christmas again. It's a thing.
My boyfriend's already singing Christmas carols, so
I
it's
can't. I'm all into Halloween. Because of course I work in the industry, and I'm planning out my many outfits and costumes and what
fine.
groups we're going in and all that kind of shit. So it is all Halloween over here.
So
So
as you can
meanwhile, back to
see,
the episode. It looks as if Ryder Azadi may have betrayed Ezra and the crew, and appears to be working with what's his name, Thrawn's bodyguard, Rook.
Rook.
Yeah, and
Rook,
Price is leading the charge on these guys.
who is a borrow from the Legends days.
Yes. Apparently, his characterization in Rebels is not well liked. And I get it. Like, he's disposed of pretty easily. He's not in a lot of episodes. I get it.
There were some things about Rook that were very Zahn Zahn-esque in those books, but there were some things in him that was like completely different.
Chopper to the rescue, causing chaos.
Always.
Now, I will say that the animation where Hera and Hondo are coming in to Lothal on the back of the freighter and showing how bad Lothal looks, those were some really good. That was some really good animation.
Yeah,
it made you feel like you were really watching a scene out of Star Wars where they were running through space.
The animation in this whole season is really like unparalleled.
The pigmentation on the characters' faces was really good.
Like, everything just looks so crisp and colorful, and the action shots look everything looks expensive. They spent a lot of money on this season, you can tell, and every year gets better and better. Like Clone Wars season 7, which followed not long after this, looked even better, like movie quality, especially those last 4 episodes with Siege of Lothal. Like, it was just unreal.
Well, look at the reflection on the stormtroopers battle. You see how the lights there. I mean, they went through a lot of detail.
Oh, she's gloating. I just want to punch her.
Yeah. It's nice to see her get hers in the end, but there are definitely moments throughout the show where she like really comes out. I mean, she kills Kanan, right? She's one of the most effective villains we've seen in all of Star Wars. For all her faults and all the things she does wrong,
all the
she's probably, one of the best. So not to get too political, but JD Vance going to the donut shop might be my favorite video of the internet this week. I just keep saying, I've been saying for days, whatever makes sense, just at all times. I just can't get enough of that shit. Like, I love people who have no sense of how to interact in the real world whatsoever. Oh, here we go. The ghost to the rescue.
Da-da-da!
Hondo the hero. We did our best of Hondo last week. By the way, we barely talked about Hondo, but we did tell everyone to. There you go. There's what's his name, his little best friend. To check out all. Yeah, Felch. Melchi.
Mr. Ugnaught.
Named after Stephen Melching, writer of the show.
So,
why they made him an Ugnaught, I don't know. But
Hondo like literally saves the day over here. This is such a great Hondo moment.
In the beginning of this episode, for that boy, there's nothing I wouldn't do. He has such devotion to Ezra.
This is what we were saying last week, how once you encounter Ezra, Kanan, Hera, Zeb, Sabine, even Chopper, the crew of the Ghost, it changes you. You become a different person. All of these people were individually impacted by the crew of the Ghost and then decided to come back. Every single person there made a decision to join the liberation of Lothal, from Rex to Mark Matten to Dante Bosco's character, whose name I'm blanking on. Yeah, Jai Kell.
Who even shows up in Ahsoka, albeit played by a different actor, which is kind of sad, but yeah.
It's like incredible.
You got Vizago over here, Brotherhood of the Broken Horn himself.
Exactly. He was such a great season 1 character back when the show was still like a little bit silly, but now he's back for like some real deal stuff.
I love these wolves.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying.
Where's your army now, Jedi?
Come on, Rook. You can see in the dark, right?
Yeah, I don't want to get eaten by a wolf. That sounds terrible.
I should have gotten that wolf.
And not even a little wolf, but like a gigantic monster wolf.
So big.
They will swallow your butthole. That's right. Be afraid. Be
I
very
like that she
afraid.
gets like quasi trampled.
Oh, if only really trampled. I'm sorry, it's horrible.
And isn't there the theory that one of these is the Canaan's spirit, or, you know?
Yeah. There's some debate as to whether Kanan is still involved. I think when he said goodbye a couple episodes ago, that final shot is sort of the
The
end of
White
his
Wolf
will.
leaving.
Yeah. The Doom episode. Like, I think that that's the end of Kanan, and he's passing the baton. Because at this point, he shouldn't have any impact on what happens. Like, he's done everything he can. His journey ended. He gave everyone the means to succeed. They have to do it without him.
Yeah.
It would actually sort of cheapen everything, I think, if he was still involved. But I understand the desire to sort of see Kanan still included in all of this.
Well, it weakens the argument that Ezra did this if Kanan's still there backing him up.
Right.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Ezra still has enough of a force connection with all the animals in the fall, including the Loth wolves and the Loth cats, to just kind of they see he's in trouble.
They're tearing the hell out of these stormtroopers.
Yeah.
It's so brutal.
Oh my God, the carnage.
This is
have
far
enough
from the Malu run fruit run.
Totally. Dang. Look at this.
Oh, we got the wolf pack back.
Yeah, we got Gregor, we got Wolfie. Everything's
You
good.
know that some animator was trying to tear that stormtrooper in half, and they were like, "We're still a kid show. This is as far as we can push things." Because that's what I'm thinking. They're just throwing them into the void over here.
Fine. Nothing. You didn't see a body.
I'd still eat them. There's Callus and Zeb.
And then it you know, and the all of the force nudging that Ezra gets through all this continues on into the next episode when what is it? It says Ezra gave us a mission. What was it, Mark?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When Mark starts claiming, Ezra gave us a mission.
I have to say I'm bad at like the individual pull quotes.
That's all right. I was going now. Was that before this or after this?
I love this group though. Look at this crazy fucked up group. Like,
you have the clones. You
Yep.
have Ryder Azadi.
Former Republic people, former Imperial people, random
pirates.
villains, pirates. There's not one purely heroic person there. They've all decided, So that's what I love about it.
I think Rex,
so good.
Honestly, I think Rex has been good from the get-go. Like we see him resisting going bad because of the chip in his head, but Ahsoka takes care of that.
Yeah,
so I mean, Rex is the only one.
Yeah, they were part of the Republic, but yes, amazing. What a fun time. And finally, like, Governor Price taken down. So we got to see the fist.
Did I ever tell you guys that my stepson for I think it was my Christmas present last year took Revenge of the Sith scenes from the 7th season of the last 2 episodes of Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and something else, and mix them all together so that they overlay. So you were rolling out of Revenge of the Sith into Clone Wars into Bad Batch, where Order 66 is being done, and made it one 5-hour long movie.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I
definitely need to see that. Can you send me that?
Yes, I can.
That looks really awesome.
That sounds
I would totally watch that.
I did see a compilation someone did of all the Order 66 stuff, and it was everything from Revenge of the Sith and then the Clone Wars overlay to that. And of course, I'm sure everyone has seen the video where the scene in Revenge of the Sith where they're all talking around the hologram, and then they cut in Clone Wars Season 7 with Ahsoka, and how Anakin and Ahsoka miss each other by about 90 seconds, if that. It's so close.
It's crushing. It's absolutely crushing.
It really is.
it's like, to me, for watching, you know, when you watch something and you know that things would have been different if it was just like seconds later, if somebody didn't drive off, if somebody got the message, if somebody saw this, and it's just
Yeah.
like something, the way fate works in these shows and movies.
Yeah.
It's painful. It's so painful, and it just frustrates me so
Well,
much.
that last episode of you know, we talk about the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker. That tragedy was heightened by the last episode, or next to last episode, depending on where that fell, of Clone Wars. I mean, it just, you know, it's like, you know, here's Ahsoka trying to reach out to Anakin, and of course we know that Palpatine manipulated the charges against Ahsoka so he could get her out of the way, so that he had the freedom to continue to manipulate
Pulling away
Anakin.
those attachments. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this was the only thing that was going to save him was Ahsoka, and
Yeah, the Emperor had a good plan, and it largely worked.
And I wonder if that's something in season 2 of Ahsoka that they don't reach out and try and tap into, is that Ahsoka finally realizes that, you know, that Palpatine removed her because he knew if she'd been in the case that Anakin would have never gone. You know.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Same thing with Padme. Removing Padme.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh.
It's good storytelling all around.
Yeah, this last few episodes of, I mean, you know, some of the animation that's out there, you know, is, like, I tell people all the time that the last 2 episodes of Clone Wars is some of the best Star Wars content, live or animated, period.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone's like, I don't watch the animation.
I know.
Like, you haven't watched the animation. Once you watch it, you'll be like, oh shit, why didn't I watch this sooner?
That's every single person who has watched Rebels has said basically that exact same sentence to me. I should have watched this sooner. It's so good. They didn't really want to believe it. So
like, hello, we're in our 40s and we're watching. We're
Yeah.
making weekly episodic television about how much we love the show.
40s was a long time. 40s was 16 years ago. 56 now.
Like, I've decided to spend my Monday evenings talking about a show that was like taken off the air 5 years ago. It's that good, guys.
6 years ago now.
Is it 6? Shit.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah,
I know.
Reading.
Oh, I think we talked about the 5th year anniversary last year. That makes sense. Yeah. Wait. Oh, so we're in the 10th. Oh, we are in the 10th anniversary now, though.
Yeah.
Of the start of the show. So this was what I showed last week.
I
Rebels
love it.
ornament. But notice how it says 10th anniversary on the box. So in theory, this year should be celebrating 10 years of Rebels in totality. I got to tell you, there's been almost nothing. Other than the fact that the Ghost from the HasLab is supposedly going to deliver this fall, I haven't received a single email about that since I bought the thing.
But I hear rumors that it is looking to ship sooner. So
I'll believe it when I see it.
I know. We know how production works.
Yeah.
And
well, I can tell you just from everything I've experienced on working on De Novo, I don't have one item that's on time. So Chinese manufacturing has been a disaster for years and has only gotten worse. And I can't put anything into a shipping container with like a normal time frame anymore. Everything is a lie. ETD dates and ETA dates and like shipping and logistics. Like, I hope you're paying your shipping and logistics people triple what they were getting 5 years ago, because the job has gotten that much harder. Like, it's terrible everywhere, within every industry. But it's also true everywhere in every job. Like, everything's harder to do. Yeah. Manufacturing's a pain, but like shipping and delivery and everything else is terrible too. And I got to be honest, something as big as the Ghost that we paid a ton of money for better be perfect. If that thing has so much as a scratch on it, I'm sending it back. Like, it's going to be like that. And I think the problem is, like, there's no way it's coming out perfect or going to look exactly like the model that they showed at San Diego Comic-Con. So there's going to be people who bitch about it. I see it happen with every collector line of every product, whether it's Star Wars or not. So that's going to be a thing.
Honestly, like, the people who have gotten the Razor Crest and the Jabba's sail barge and things like that, they've all been like incredibly happy with how they've turned out. So my hope is that, you know, COVID itself hasn't like ruined anything for us with the Ghost, because this is the first ship I've actually gone all in. Like, I don't even care what else they make ever. Like, this is my ship.
Yeah, I'm not buying another thing ever.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else I could want.
So
Unless they're gonna do a mural of some kind with all the action figures in like some type of mural-esque mural.
just
Which by
saying.
the way, like I know there's fan made murals made by a certain Instagrammer whose name I'm blanking on.
A
But
fan of.
a
I
fan
love
of.
them.
There you go. It's
Love
very
her.
cool
Thanks,
looking.
Tiff.
Yeah. So anyway, that is our show for the week. I
Yeah.
can't believe that we're in the end game. Just to reiterate what we were talking about at the top of the hour, for anyone who might have missed it, we are in the final several episodes of Rebels Revisited before we turn over to Clone Wars Revisited. So hopefully everyone will stay with us. Next week is Labor Day. We are actually all going to be here, so we're just going to go live like regular
Yeah.
time for on Monday the 2nd. We're doing a best of Maul. He's in some really important episodes of Star Wars Rebels. We'll talk a little bit about his time as Darth Maul and the Clone Wars, but mostly it'll be Rebels related. And then Monday the 9th, we'll do the shorts because I think those will be really fun.
Yeah.
And then Monday the 16th, we're going to do our best of season 4. And then Monday the 23rd and Monday the 30th will be our 2-part send off where we do Family Reunion, which is the first half, and then Farewell, which is the second half. And of course, we'll try to make that final episode feel, you can't see my arms, bigger, since it's our
Yeah.
final
Because we have
episode.
so
So,
much to talk about. We've done so
Yeah.
much in the last 2.5
Yeah.
years on the show. So it's
exactly.
only fair.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
So Monday the 30th of September, so a little over a month from now, will be our final episode of Rebels Revisited, and we're just really grateful for everyone who joins us every
Yeah.
week to talk with us and hang out and watch Rebels and be engaged in the chat and listen to our silly nonsense. Oh my God, how much do we not talk about Rebels? And we talk about like stupidest shit, and then everyone jumps on board. People are like, "Oh yeah, let's watch Firefly." Like, I love that. That's great.
There's
I
like
love
4 or
that
5 conversations about Hallmark on here too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we've always
I
got some kind of
know.
nonsense brewing.
We did that for Bridget. It's fine.
So yeah, I'm sad about Rebels Revisited coming to an end because so Ashley, I think you and I even talked about this in like 2019 at some point, being like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a
Yeah.
Rebels podcast? And then 2020 rolls around and we start planning in 21.
We finally got on the horn and we're like,
Yeah.
listen, we're doing this.
Yeah, because
That's how we
knew
spent
each
our
other through
COVID.
Tops, and then we both knew Spencer, and of course I knew Frank, and then it all I think the Force willed it, right? It led us
Yep.
here and brought us to this moment. It brought us Skip, and of course with Clone
Actually,
Wars.
yeah, we kidnapped Skip.
Yeah, we did. How did we grab you? There was something that happened that initially, I think from the Thursday night watch along,
So
where we needed you to help with something.
Spencer had heard that I'd done some DJing in the past, and so he invited me to be on a watch along one night. And so it was kind of like, oh, he did all right. And then Ashley got sick or something. And it was hysterical because it was the best of the Grand Inquisitor.
Oh, that's right. That's the first one that you did. Yeah.
And Mark missed the fact that Ashley wasn't going to be there. And she'd reached out and I said, sure, I'll do it. And Mark comes on to the show, like before we go live, there's this like little session right before it. And Mark comes on and looks up and goes, oh.
That's right. I fully missed the chat. I wasn't paying attention to Facebook.
Here's Skip on the page with him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this. I mean, watch-alongs are, I'm watching it. You can, you're speaking what you're thinking, but you gotta. I get popped on with a best of, so I've got to come up with. I'm like Grand Inquisitor, okay, species, okay, what trying to pull up some stuff, and we got finished, and Mark goes, huh. You can see almost a surprise on my face.
You were really good.
Yeah, he can keep up.
That thing, you knew Rebels, and you're good on air, and more importantly, like it's all family here, right?
Yeah.
So, I tell everyone in the chat, if anyone wanted to come, like co-host and hang out, you're all invited. We're not asking you to like run the show, but if you would like to participate, we'd love to have you on air for a night. That would be really, really fun. And with Clone Wars, we've got 7 seasons to do that, times like 20 episodes a season. It's like 140 something episodes.
We'll be doing that for like 4 years.
We're 90. Yeah, we're 90.
They're 90.
Gonna die on this channel. While we simultaneously plan our Firefly Revisited and whatnot, but in all seriousness, we should put Serenity on the list of movies that we're thankful for in the month of November, because we're not going to have, I think, a comprehensive lead up to Skeleton Crew. There's like nothing to lead up to. Like, you know how we did Summer of Snips and like the Andor August and getting ready for all that kind of stuff? There's nothing to get ready for. Just when Skeleton Crew starts, just start watching. Like, that's it. Like, we might do like a trailer breakdown
We can do
special.
like a Goonies
Like,
watch.
that would actually be really fun. We should watch
Yeah.
the Goonies in November as well.
Yeah.
There
And
we
I
go.
think that there's probably some other underrated sci-fi movies that we could probably hit for November that we haven't covered on the channel. Like, I really love Ad Astra, and I
I've
realize
never
that
seen it.
it's like really good. And look, I don't love Brad Pitt, but like I love Ad Astra.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a lot happens in that movie though. People are like, "What was the point?" And I was like, "It's about like I don't know.
It's our
It's
stuff.
yeah. It's
a
very
character
intellectual.
study.
Yeah.
It's a
It's more.
character study.
Yeah. It's this one guy like trying to um, figure out if there's life in the universe, but it's less about that. It's more about what happened to his dad. Like it's a much more personal one-on-one. Oh,
Oh my
Flight of the
God, Dave.
Navigator would be fun.
Yes, that was
Dave, I
my
love that idea.
first favorite non-animated Disney movie when I was a kid. That one and The Journey of Natty Gann.
That'd be
Absolute
really cute.
favorites. So
I
yeah,
swear that
I'm
the
down.
Nerf herders were doing something with that. Am I crazy? Like, they did the black hole, didn't
They
they?
did the black hole, yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is not something I watched because I was like,
I
oh my
love
God,
that
people
movie.
get sucked into the black hole. Oh, I was kind of terrified. But yeah,
And it's on Disney Plus now.
yeah.
What isn't? Yeah.
I watched it the other day. I made my wife and a friend of hers watch it. I was like, no, we got to watch this.
By
It's
the
an
way,
awful and great movie all at the same time.
oh yeah, those are some of the best.
The Tron movies, which I love.
Tron would be fun.
I remember watching Tron when it came out in the movie theaters. That's how old I am.
Tron Legacy? Because that's what I watched in the theater.
We could watch that in preparation for the new Tron that's coming out.
Yeah.
Dave, that's fucking brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, way to bring down the room. Yeah, no, that's actually like a disaster. I know, Ray. Yeah, Ray. Like, I feel you. Like, I'm very upset about the deleted content. Like,
I
it's just
don't
not.
understand it. I really don't.
I don't get it. But look, I don't pretend to understand the tax codes of. Here's the thing. I assume that the Willow Disney Plus show was a write-off of some sort because it did very poorly. Like, for the people who loved it, they loved it, but like no one cared. And it's another example of, I think, Lucasfilm wildly misreading the room. Like the final Indiana Jones movie did so poorly that it like
But it's
kicked
so
off.
good. Yeah.
All right, I won't fight you on that. I don't love that movie, but I understand that the people who watched it largely like it. But
Yeah.
it is objectively like a gigantic failure. Like it cost so much money and made so little money. And that's what I mean about misreading the room. Like they could have made a good movie, but like it was marketed poorly and who cared about Indiana Jones? There was never an entrance ramp other than the
Everybody
people who are
just
still
wanted
alive. Like,
Indiana Jones to be the Indiana Jones they remembered, and they forgot that Harrison Ford is 80 years old now.
well, there's partly that, but also when you say everybody, like there's 40 years of people who don't care about Indiana Jones because the last one that came out was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and it was terrible. So what didn't happen was as much as people complain about all these streams of content for Star Wars, there's the Young Jedi Adventures, there's Rebels, there's Resistance, there's all these different D plus shows like to bring people into the franchise. There's books, there's comics, there's toys, there's stuff at the amusement parks, right? Like there's one Indiana Jones ride and there's been one movie in 2008.
There's
like
a stunt show.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's one attraction.
There's the adventure in Disneyland.
Yeah,
and
I mean, sorry, there's
Disney
one of each in each park, but that doesn't get you anywhere. Like that's been there for 20 years. Like it's the kind of thing where, like, what I'm saying is they haven't done anything to nurture this franchise.
I understand.
Like at all. And so for them to say we're going to release a movie that we spend $300 million on, knowing it needs to make $1 billion to break even, whoever approved that math should be fired because, like, there's no way there's $1 billion worth of interest. There just isn't because you never built the audience. Like the audience that is no longer the audience that is, and people don't seem to understand that in this industry.
I was the audience that was, and he was. You can't make the first three movies with Harrison Ford at the age that he is now.
No,
you just can't do it. It's like, let me watch this old guy trying to run around. I mean, watching Indy, like, I mean, the first one was awesome, and Harrison could play that character, and he could play it in the second movie, and he could even play it in the third movie. But even by the time he'd gotten to the Crystal Skull, he was getting a little bit too old for that character.
I hated
He is
Crystal
definitely,
Skull.
and it's like, I mean, it's like, let me watch my grandfather, run around the screen, pretending to be Indiana Jones. It just,
Yep. And not to be ageist about it, but like there's an obsession in this country with like old men who have overstayed their welcome. And I'm talking about in politics and pop culture everywhere. It's the boomers who will not die because the generation before them died very young. And so they came into prominence and power early and they've been there forever.
And they don't
And
want to give it up.
there's also millions of them. They're the largest generation and they will not stop. And like I've had it with all of them. Like if it were up to me, like we'd cancel everything that is like of that age, whether it's politics, pop culture, or whatever. Like it just doesn't. Like I've had enough. Like pass the torch. We need Gen Xers and millennials running things at this point. Enjoy retirement, and by retirement I mean forcibly so. Like
I would love to meet
gone.
Harrison Ford, and I would love to reminisce with him, but I don't really. You'd have to find the right vehicle for me to want to go out and watch him do a current movie.
Exactly. It's really it's too much. Sherry, I think you are an older Gen Xer. You're in that bubble. The real boomers are like 70 plus. Like that's where the problems
my
are.
mom,
Like Indiana Jones being 80 years old should not be name above the title on anything. He should be retired. And I mean that with love. Like there are people who are acting in their 80s and 90s and they are doing bit roles as like the old person. Like that's where it should be. But Thunderbolt Ross will be fun because like he's not the lead in that movie. Anthony Mackie is the lead in that movie, and we've got a huge crew of people around him. Even though Harrison Ford is arguably probably going to be billed first, which is crazy, or they're going to give him the and. I think you have to give him the and because you have to put Anthony Mackie as the first name in the Captain America movie. So
yeah,
as you should.
Yeah, although I
and
did watch.
That's the right vehicle for him.
Yes,
where he's not the primary, but he plays the elderly statesman president who turns into the Red Hulk, which
yes,
I'm starting to lose myself when I say that, but yeah, the
and he actually did the mocap for that, which is just like
I was gonna say I'm surprised by that because you can just adjust his face. But like, yeah, I'm glad they're putting him in CGI. Sherry, you're giving us excellent examples, but I think they're outliers. Truly, like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards.
Paul McCartney.
Well, they both signed a deal with the devil, so I mean that doesn't count.
That's a good deal, let me tell you. I actually really love Mick Jagger. He's I mean, they're all doing it.
Sorry,
right?
it's
great. But back to Captain America, we did get a trailer with Red Hulk, so we finally know what he looks like, and he does really look like Harrison Ford in a big way. I'm really more interested in like this inner circle gone awry in there, and they're going to connect it to Thunderbolts and Val. And also, is Val the big villain of this phase? Like Julia Louis-Dreyfus? Like I think she is incredible.
Back still in another franchise. Come on.
I know. I also love the fact that Giancarlo. I'm just going to tell you, Dave O'Neill, that Chuck Norris is problematic and leave it at that. He's no Kevin Sorbo, but he's close to it. Yeah. Oh my god, I saw the funniest shit about Kevin Sorbo.
Oh my god, I know what you're talking about. I was laughing so hard.
He wrote something, and someone was like, "I wish." One of the problems with disagreeing with Kevin Sorbo is there's nothing I can go out and boycott. And I was like, oof, that's rough. And then someone had put together a list of some idiots that included his name on it. And they were like, well, if you want to see them, you better go get yourself a VCR. And I was like, oh, shit. Like the irrelevance of like his view and just him in general is outrageous. By the way, if anyone needs a good chuckle, check out Kevin Sorbo on Twitter. Apparently it's his son who does the tweeting, which makes it that much sadder.
How old is Sorbo?
Probably about our age.
I don't know, probably younger
30s?
than me. No, Kevin Sorbo's only. Here's what's so funny: Kevin Sorbo's not 80; he's like 50 or 60.
I know, which his son is probably like in his 30s or something like that.
I don't even think the son is that old. But that being said, like Kevin Sorbo's a problem. Lucy Lawless, on the other hand, is amazing, and we love her.
Team Dina, all the way.
So
Sorbo's 65. He's a little older than me. He's 9 years older than me.
I never watched Andromeda, Sherry, but I did love the Legendary Journeys of Hercules.
Yeah, my dad used to watch that.
And then when Xena came up, like I I fucking love that show. I watched all 10 seasons of Xena. That thing ran forever. Like it was wild how long that show was on the air. And it went like way overstayed its welcome the way a lot of those syndicated shows do because like you got a certain budget and like a good amount of uh you know ratings or whatever, and you can kind of live forever in that space. Like Baywatch did it. How long was Baywatch on the air, Skip? It had to be 15 seasons.
Oh my God, it was forever.
Yeah, like those, it's unreal just how long shows like that can last. When you're in syndication, you don't have to bring in that much because they're all like manageable budgets. And you remember how shitty that CGI was. Like, oh man, it was hot garbage, but the best. So fun. That's another thing we need to go through is like, what were some of these sci-fi shows, especially from the 90s and the early aughts, that we loved outside of Star Wars? Because I would say Hercules and Xena would both be on my list
My
of like,
So-Called Life just celebrated its 30th anniversary on the 25th.
oh,
Can you believe?
oh, oh.
I
Now,
was 11
bones.
years old when that show came out, and I watched it religiously as soon as I could get to a TV.
Ugh, my
I loved it.
bones.
So Knight Rider, Airwolf,
Loved. Great American Hero.
Greatest American Superhero. I love
I never
that.
watched that. I never got into
They
it.
were already in reruns in the 80s, but they were on, and my mom, like chips, things like that. I'm sorry, Skip. I'm so sorry. But I loved them. Different strokes.
See, I loved the reruns of Batman 66, which they were running in the late 80s
Oh,
to
yeah.
lead up to Batman 89.
Yeah.
That was a good time. And they were rerunning Super Friends too, and all those cartoons from the 70s.
Oh my gosh,
Which
Super
such a
Friends.
blast. Yeah, good times.
Super Jammies.
Oh my God. Meanwhile, we are way over time. We got off on a tangent, which is always what happens, damn it. All right, so let me tell everyone about what's happening on the network this week. You would think with all that time we were sitting around, I'd have it ready. So obviously tonight we had our, join us next week for another episode of Rebels Revisited. We're doing the best of them all we're not off for Labor Day. We will be laboring on Labor Day for you guys. Skip, you're invited back if you're going to be around.
I'll be around.
We have a new episode of the Nerf Herder Council this week. So for all you Alien fans out there, as we continue to talk about like sci-fi and the importance of the genre, they're doing a review of Romulus, which I finally saw, and it's really, really good. I love Romulus.
Was it scary?
It's scary, but it's not. Like, here's the thing, like,
is it alien scary?
It's alien scary, and I actually prefer Alien as a horror movie than a sci-fi franchise. Meaning, like, I prefer the fear over the lore. Although I love what did we just watch? Oh my God, Prometheus. Even though that's not scary at all and it's all lore. So but like I thought it was really good. The watch along this week is Mandalorian season 2, chapter 16, and then the Jedi Archives is doing issue number 9 of the High Republic Assault on Fortress Bulan, or I don't know what that is. I don't know anything about the High Republic, but the Jedi Archives will keep you posted on High Republic, which is great. And then we're back, like I said, on Monday with Best of Maul, as we hit the end game over here. So that's everything for the week. Anything else we have?
Just want to give a shout out to my friend Brack for making sure that I got a candy corn loath cat, because you can't find him anywhere around here.
It's very cute.
It's hella
That's the one from the West Coast, right?
No, this is actually, if you have a Target with a Disney store in it near you, they sell these, but it's the only place you can find these. And there isn't one around me for at least like an hour and a half to 2 hours or more. So he and his son, Liam, found this little guy for me. And I'm not a fan of candy corn, but how can you not be with this little adorbs thing? Like, look at his tail. It's so cute. But yeah, shout out to them, and another loath cat to add to my collection. But
Peeps and candy corn.
I know they fall into the same category in my life. Like candy, my parents loved and tried to force on me, and I was like, why?
Yeah, I don't really like candy corn, but the candy corn loth cat is very cute.
It's so like creative. Like I seriously like the ears, the tail. Like
it's adorable.
It's just perfect Halloweening if you're gonna be a Rebels fan. So if you can find one, definitely get one.
Yeah, I got to get me one. That looks great. As I keep saying, I need to not buy more stuff. It's unending.
It never ends.
All right. Well,
all
thank you
good.
everyone for joining us this week. It was great hanging out. Thanks for joining in
Okay,
the
Sherry, I forgive you.
yeah. It as we're entering our final 5 episodes of Rebels Revisited. So be sure to join us next week, and hope everyone has a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Hopefully you're around on Monday.
We'll be
We
here.
can all get together, and we'll see you then. And for everyone here from the show, may the force
Thank
be
you,
with you.
Skip.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for joining us, Skip.
Thanks. Had a great time.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Bye, guys.